Hello, my friends, and how are you doing? Everybody can do art with AI, but there's a simple trick to make way better work. So today I want to take you on a journey that for me was intriguing, it was beautiful, and at the end of the journey, something was revealed to me that changed everything on how I think about art. And I think it's going to have the same effect for you. So I want to start with this statement: everything is alive. What I mean by that is that every element in an image you create has meaning, creates a web of expressions that tells the story of the world where your image is happening in, or also your video, for example. So for that, I want to make a starting point here with Samuel Beckett and Waiting for Godot. So this is a theater play. It's very minimalist. It's about the existential question. And because it is so minimalist, it actually makes the task pretty hard. But at the same time, it reveals the weakness. It reveals the focus on elements and the story so that you can easier see where things go in the right or the wrong direction. Now, if you don't know that play, this is about these two guys here, Vladimir and Estragon. And the play actually is very open about the situation. It's along a road. There's nothing else there. We have this here, which might be a tree or a shroom or a bush. We don't really know. The characters also don't know, but they have to wait there for Godot. We don't know who Godot is, but he is promising something to them, so they wait if they want or not. There's also these two other characters. On the right side, we have the master. On the left side, we have the servant, and they have a interesting dynamic with each other. Again, it's not really explained who they are, why they are there, or where they are going, and all of that creates an amazing mystery. But what's interesting to us is the visual story here. So we're going to start with this, which is basically the starting point, where we have this dead tree, or maybe it's still alive but don't have any leaves right now, and we have that guy in the landscape. So basic starting point, but we're gonna now try to change that into another situation, and by that reveal the complexity and the dynamic between the elements. So here, for example, we have the guy, but he's next to the telephone booth, and already you see this dramatic shift in the image and the meaning of the image happening, because now it is all about that call. But because it's a telephone booth, you could also imagine that the call is on the eye level. It's from human to human, even if the human might be a little bit higher or lower in social rank. It is a direct connection you have. It feels kind of intimate and private through that phone booth. Now here we have the next one, where we have this broken down satellite dish, but here again, dramatic change, because this is not someone, you don't call your mom on a satellite dish, you call her on the phone, right? So this has to be a relation between a person and maybe a government or a big system or science or something in the sky, maybe an alien invasion, stuff like that, but a very big system and a very small actor. Very, very big change. Next one here, we have the guy and his dog. Now, this again changes it because it's an intimate relation of friendship. Now, so we have these two friends, and there's an element of hope and of love and of passion and of exploration in this landscape. So the landscape feels less intimidating, but at the same time, it's kind of a journey where you could think about survival, you could think about getting home. So you can see how dramatically the elements change. Let's go through a little bit of other suggestions here. For example, this one here, which is interesting also because the composition is changing here. So now we have the person very small and the horizon very low, and then we have this big wall. This makes it in a certain way Kafkaesque, which means that the person is going up against a system where you can't really fight back. There is nothing to address. There is nothing to push against. You just have to wait there. You're basically at the whim of whatever ever created that wall, which again has to be a system because it is so big and because it is this massive wall that a single person couldn't build. It's not just the building. However, this very much changes when we add a door, because suddenly this wall that could not be addressed, that could not be entered, that could not be fight against, now suddenly has the opportunity of an exit. It has a chance, it has a hope, and you want to go into the wall, but you don't know how to get up there. So now it is about your own limitations of it is in reach, but you just can't reach because you don't have the means, but it is right in front of you. You can see how these elements are really changing something, right? But let's go to something that is different. So far we have been in the quite abstract visual space. Now we are getting into a space that is more Hollywood-esque, I would say. It's more mainstreamy. And the reason why I say that is because now we have something that is blatantly obvious, in the face, tells a story. This is something Hollywood uses and Marvel uses, and for example Black Mirror and stuff like that. They want you to look at a symbol where you immediately understand its purpose and meaning and the implication for you. So of course here we have the cubicles for a job, and the only thing this can mean is that you are stuck in this kind of work process, right? And of course in this case also because they are next to each other, there is no pathway, you can't go forward. So you're basically captured in a situation where you are basically in a jail of work, but at the same time you want to remain there because it makes life comfortable for you, even though it is boredom, it's repetition, and you are in the rat race. You can see that also by the guy being in a suit and standing there quite self-confident, but at the same time being in an endless, not really maze, but a grid, right? Now here, this is also as a video. Sorry, there we have the now you can see the video. This makes it even a bigger, like, dimensional thing, right? And of course also again it changes the story. Look at that, because we have the small person, but now instead of work it's about living space. It's about the social construct and social dynamic. It's about the question that you are even socially, even with your family and your friends, you're just one of many people, and everything is just grit, where the question arises, why does it even matter what I do? Because I'm just like in this chicken coop of millions of other people being in the same situation. Don't even stand out. I'm an ant in this social system, which is different from the work system, right? And let's go here, for example, where we have the man versus the landscape. This is also interesting, again, with the composition, where the horizon is pressing down on the person and makes it dramatic, exposing, feeling lost. So low horizon and big sky often creates this feeling of you against the nature, you being very vulnerable against everything that could come from the outside, because there's nothing that can protect you. You are exposed to all of these elements, basically. Now, of course, there's a lot of examples that go even further than that. I want to switch through a couple of them just to show you. These go even more visually impressive, but visually more on the nose, something you know from sci-fi shows and from video games that create emotions in you and certain feelings, or rage or fear or hope or love, all these kind of things that create a process in your mind. But what they also do, and this is a very different to what we have here in Waiting for Godot, when you look at that, they create a symbol. And here is like where it opens up, where the payoff basically comes from, that whole search and journey to go through that process. Because when you look at that image, yes, visually it's impressive, and yes, it's easy to understand what is happening here. But one thing that is also happening, and also with the other images we have seen so far, is that we are using a symbol as an expression of an idea. And that is where the crux is. That is where the low quality is, where the fast food quality of an artistic work is. And this is also, by the way, and I don't want to talk down about these things, but if you think, for example, about Marvel or Hollywood movies, stuff like that, they use this kind of like very easy access and very clear and obvious symbols you want to have in these kind of images, because they make it easier for the audience to understand. There is no complexity in there because you immediately know, aha, that is what's going on. But what it also means, and this is for us the revealing moment, is that this is a symbol. It is a gadget, but it also is an end point. This is where the story is kept in that. Now, if you compare this to the theater play of Waiting for Godot, it's actually a simple to understand but hard to master trick, is the transcendence beyond the symbol. And this is also for me was an amazing aha moment to understand it is not about selecting something that is new or genuinely different, or these kind of like, oh, you have to come up with some real great innovation. Actually, no. Because if you look at this image, you have these guys who look like beggars. You have this thing that looks like a tree. You have this very barren and dystopian landscape in the background. All of these are clearly obvious things and symbols that want to tell you something, right? But the difference is that Samuel Beckett and Waiting for Godot are not stopping there. This is a starting point. And the way that he is doing that in the theater play is that he never really defines them. He leaves their meaning open. So for the tree, it could be the tree of life, but it could also not be. It could be a dead tree, but it could also not be. It could be a tree or not a tree at all. They see it as a symbol of something that might happen in the future, some hope and some life that is still there, but they also see it as a way out, a way to string themselves up to end their suffering, basically. But then again, they never take that chance because they still want to wait for Godot. And Godot also is never explained. This makes it so different from this image here, for example, where you have a guy, you have the broken time, it's kind of on the nose. Also, by the way, and this is something in art school that teachers will tell you right away, tear down everything that's big. Don't have big things in the image. Don't make the painting big or the sculpture big, because big is impressive. Big is its own device. Don't make stuff big. Keep it small and see if it still works, and try to always go beyond the meaning of what it is. Try to find a visual way, an expression, a story in your image that answers something that lies behind that symbol. You need to be able for the viewer to look not at the symbol, but through the symbol, at the thing you want to show behind that. And for me, that kind of understanding changed everything, because suddenly it opens up how great art is actually created. Now, again, this is something that's easy to understand but hard to master. You can't just like go like this and magically have something that transcends the symbol. But by trying, by knowing that this is the path to go, this is how it works to create something that is truly interesting and also open to interpretation, is a good starting point to really improve your work. Now, also one thing that I want to leave you with, why it is so important to keep it open for interpretation, is because then it survives the test of time. Because the worst thing you can basically do if you want to create something that is amazing and lasting is something that just follows a trend and something that happens now. You want to have something that still has a meaning 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe even 100 years from now. And by keeping it open and by transcending beyond the initial idea, you can give people an opportunity to think themselves into that, because the problem, the situation, the topic you're about is still alive. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see you soon. Bye.